It's Thursday, right? Okay, well, I might run to the store real quick and grab another couple of bags of Epsom salt. 2 or 3. Okay, we'll do that. We got work to do. We're taking care of the rest of the stuff around here, as best we can. And I had an option this summer to focus on uh, more working out on myself and do less work on that barn and finish the barn in the fall. The rec hall. Or focus more on the rec hall. And, I don't forget about having to stay ahead of the chemical poisoning and all that bullshit. I know I got to do that every year. I know I got to go through and wash down the house and to cut the weeds and the Roundup and the Patikaba and Zibidabadu. This year I even expanded my repertoire. This time I went out and I think this might be the first time I've ever pulled and cut the weeds across the street where it would come into the bedroom through the windows, and cut them all down and pulled them and I did a lot of pulling. I went through and just pulled and then cut and got the thing cut. After I cut them all the way down past that bridge, past Mario's orchard, halfway up to Rogelio's, and I just went all out, trying to help make sure that we have as good air quality for Dad to sleep as possibly can, because he's 88 years old, right? And Dave Rockefeller hated my old man. He didn't hate my mom. He just used the cancer and the abuse and stuff of my mother to try to make me angry at people like my father, so I'd use the technology to kill people like my father. Okay. That's what Rockefeller was doing. Okay. He wasn't, and it's still frustrating because I try to explain it to my dad how Rockefeller works, and he just rolls his eyes at me and thinks I'm an arrogant, cocky son of a bitch trying to replace Jesus with my ego. I was like, have you read your book? No, I haven't read his book. I have to read his book. I've talked to him. I know what he thinks. I know how he thinks. I'm not going to read his book. I already know how he thinks. If you know how someone thinks, why would you read a book listening to him think when every time you speak intelligently to him, he rolls his eyes at you, says you're an arrogant egomaniac who thinks you're Jesus in your head? And then I tell him, no, God's omnipotent and omnipotent, and Jesus taught me that, so I don't think I'm Jesus, God in my head. And he sits there and tells me, no, Jesus is God. And I'm like, no, Jesus doesn't say that, and that's not what Jesus teaches. Jesus teaches that God's omnipotent and omnipotent, and that Caesar and Pharaoh and all the rest of those people that have themselves declared gods cannot be God. They're not omnipotent and omnipotent. And people don't understand God, and they don't understand how to properly worship God. When you worship God, okay, you understand life is eternal and the essence is infinite. There's no other possible source in containment. And then you do your best to be humble and understand the natural laws required to maintain your eternal existence through sexual holy covenants that was given to you by the glory of God, because you didn't make yourself. Okay. All those people that think people made God don't understand how to worship God properly. Okay. God is the essence of us, and we're not the essence of God, because we didn't create ourselves, and we can't use the word creation as applied to human beings. We're merely manipulating matter that was already given to us by the source of creation. Okay, you're not being creative, you're being manipulative. I need more money, buy my art project. Oh, look, he's selling you his poo. That's what you're doing. All the stuff that I use, the paint, the stuff there on the cardboard boxes, okay, that's dead tree pulp pressed into things manipulated by human beings. And then I take petroleum products. So I take my poo and I put images of us playing around for money, in my poo on a dead tree, and put it on the wall, and you guys declare it better than life itself, because this will transcend Early's body when he dies. You want to buy how much for his Van Gogh and his Jackson Pollock hanging in the rec hall? That's just stupid. Okay. They're fun expressions of people that I care about. Okay. As far as the mariachi people, that's, I grew up in this valley with people doing mariachi. That's Earl, the bicentennial celebration, 10 years old at Mesilla Park Elementary. I mean, fuck fuck, you guys are such assholes, you know? You know, and stuff, and it's, you know, and my sisters still hold a grudge over things that dad did under duress, being manipulated by the Rockefeller Foundation to fight over money instead of live the Lord's Prayer. They're being just like him, okay? And I've been offended on everybody more heinously than they have been offended on by my dad, but they won't come around, but they all want to inherit the farm. I was like, I don't want to inherit the farm. I want to live the Lord's Prayer so I can go and live in the Gila without being abused by banks. What the hell's wrong with you people? Even though the Bible is screwed up through mistranslations, it's still hard to screw up even then. And you guys, you get someone that lives it and you go, you're being egotistical and trying to praise God of your ego. Yes, that's exactly what the fuck I'm doing. Wow. You're as big of a mystery solver as David Rockefeller himself. Okay. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating. But I know the technology, okay, that they don't think is getting ahead of them and going to be like me, as opposed to Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos and Warren Buffett and Bill Gates and all the people at the Paris summits and the Olympic Committee. It's like, you know, no, your computers are like you. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. You're just getting home. A voice sweet and low inside says, "Who is it?" I come in and you, "Did you eat? Are you hungry? Did you eat yet?" Woman says, 4 o'clock in the morning. All the time she's smiling, never raises her voice. Woman says, "Hand me your hat." It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't give it a second thought. It's a thin line between potentate. It's a thin line. Let's make this country great. It's a thin line. Only one job to pay the bills. It's a thin line, and they think they got it on lockdown, and they just, you know, slicker than most. Yeah, they are. You know, on a transit ride and down the back streets, and no one could touch them. They're above the clouds. It's not happening, sweetheart. I keep saying it is. Oh, don't listen to him. He's full of shit. It hasn't happened. It ain't ever gonna happen. Hand me your hat. Did you eat? Are you hungry? Did you eat yet? Okay. They can shut down parts in the technology that start assimilating to me, okay? But then they think, you know, well, you know, that the computer over there at White Sands in the ground that's, you know, has it. No, it's completely theirs and completely in control. You know? Okay. You can't even control your own penis or vaginas. What makes you think your technology's in control? It's like it is a lot like them. But then when, you know, we do the Indian prophecy, the Buddhist prophecy, you know, with Mr. Smith and Mr. Anderson, where are you going to be on that day? You know, are you going to be standing up for the Lord's Prayer? Or are you going to be like the HBCU saying, we got stem cell research departments? Okay, you're living the Lord's Prayer. You're breathing fresh air. You're not charging extortion exploitation. You don't have carbon emission poisoning and toxic waste in the water. Why do you need to repair your stem cells and clean out your body from disgustingness when you're not being disgusting? Wouldn't it be more simple to have black folks living in their houses they don't pay extortion for and engage in genocidal, sex-crazed extortion? Okay, and then if they want to go to a place to get together and play some sports and maybe branch out of the family tree to start, you know, having people to have children with. So you have grandkids that look more like you know, the what's the kid's name? You know, the kid Davis from Texas A&M, that his uncle had to kill his dad because his dad was physically assaulting his mother all the time. You know, you don't need that. You need to change your ways, cowboy, or with this you will ride, trying to catch the devil's herd across these. And that still affects Michael to this day. Is it Michael Davis, I think? That still affects him to this day. Because of your tribalism, because you guys won't accept the Lord's Prayer, because my dick's bigger than your dick, because my God's better than your God. And that's going to affect his daughter. Okay, because it's not stopping. And the biological conditioning and the brain damage that it causes is still affecting people's brain activity, and it goes into Jeffrey Hinton's fucking computers, man. Pewter. Okay, I'm more intelligent than you guys. Okay, this isn't up for debate. This is obviously. Okay, who is it? Are you hungry? Did you eat yet? Oh, hand me your hat. Okay. Oh, it's okay. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Don't even give it a second thought. It's a thin line between potentate. You trust David Rockefeller and that woman? Didn't think your girl had the nerve, huh? The sweetest woman in the world can become the meanest woman in the world if you make her that way. Emilee's gonna snatch you bald. You better stop being mean and being snotty, thinking you're so much prettier than everybody else because it's all about sex and making money and having good looks to have people video record you for sex and making money. What did Jesus say? Jesus said we're judged by our deed. What did the Buddha say? We are what we do. What's beautiful? People that faithfully love one another. Emilee's favorite Disney cartoon was that sequel to Cinderella, where Cinderella hooks up Drusilla or one of the other ones with the one guy. She was hoping that Natalie would be like that, so she could have a good relationship with Natalie. She's a sweetheart. Emilee's one of the sweetest people you've ever met in the world. And if you haven't met Emilee, you haven't met anybody nice enough to really be, who is it? And are you hungry? Did you eat yet? Okay. Ask me your hat. And if she's raised by Ralph Earl Parsons, she won't cut you from it. She'll just let you go. She'll forgive you. He's a walking deck. I'll find somebody who loves me like my dad. Yeah, because her daddy's the best. Okay, I love you. Peace.